Welcome to Glow Getter Guru. Let's go on this journey together to ignite our inner spark and illuminate the path to success and happiness. On this show, we're diving deep into the world of empowerment, motivation, and personal growth. Whether you're chasing your dreams, building your empire, or just need that little extra shine in your life, I got you, girl. Each episode, I'll be bringing inspiring stories, thought-provoking insights, and advice to help us unleash our full potential. So let's be the luminaries we were born to be, and let's light up the world together.
Welcome to Glow Getter Guru.
Hello, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time, hi, my name is Zella. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you've come back, thank you so much for coming back. And welcome to anybody new listening for the first time. This is Glow Getter Guru, as you've probably heard on the intro. Welcome to Glow Getter Guru. And first of all, I am so excited because I'm a Taylor Swift fan and she just dropped The Tortured Poets Department at midnight last night. And usually I stay up and I listen to the album. I did make it to midnight last night, staying up. However, I was way too tired. I was way too tired to listen to the album. So I had to wait until this morning. So I was doing my work this morning, listening to the album, and I'm just loving it. I loved it. I loved it. I haven't finished the whole thing because, she did the whole double album thing. So I was listening through the first one, and then I saw on Instagram, she did the 2 a.m. Drop. Oh, my notifications are on my computer and I need to turn them off because it's so loud. There we go. Okay. Like I was saying, I was listening to it this morning and I was loving when I was starting to listen to it, and it was giving me the 1989 pop vibes for most of the album, which I loved. I am a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I will say I am not crazy about her Evermore and Folklore albums. So I was feeling like the additional songs, it was giving Folklore and Evermore. So spoiler if you haven't listened to it yet, but yeah, the album's great. I mean, of course, the lyrics are good. She was so sad. Yeah, she was really sad on a lot of those songs. Hence the name, The Tortured Poet. The Tortured Poets Department. So in celebration of Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poet Department, I brought my own tortured poetry from years ago when I was going through some of the same things that she was going through. And I wanted to share that with you today. But I also, before I do that, I want to talk about my favorite song on the album so far, and it's I'm Gonna Get You Back, because yes, girl, I can relate to that. Yeah, go listen to that song. I'm gonna get you back. I guarantee you've felt like that before about somebody. So yeah, that's my favorite song so far. I do need to listen to the album again and again and again. That's what I like to do. When one of my favorite artists drop their music, I just listen again and again and again, and then I kind of decide. But I always know through the first listen, one song that I'm like, oh yeah, that's the song. For me, it was I'm Gonna Get You Back. So I'm gonna share some of my tortured poetry with you. Let me open up my notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm in my tortured poet cosplay because I've got on my dark brown blazer. I got the ribbon on my neck. Well, it's actually a shoelace because I don't have a ribbon, but I'm a 90s kid, so we do this. We did this in elementary school with the shoelace ribbons on our neck. And I got my little tiny braids. I saw this little theory about her, we're in our tiny braids era, and they were just talking about all the recent instances where she's wearing tiny braids. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I'm not I'm not one of the Easter egg people. Like when I see the people that figure out the Easter eggs, I'm like, oh, wow. But me, myself, I'm not going to go digging for Easter eggs. So there's that. All right. The Tortured Poet, Zella. That is not the name of the poem. It actually has no name. Here we go. No signal and a million stars laid out on the rooftop of my car. And you can't reach me here. I need space. You've told me hundreds of times that you know what you've got and you wouldn't fuck it up, but I guess you forgot. My mind shows me pictures now, tainted and hazy, unexpected betrayals and severed blood ties, now estranged and unacquainted. My memories are rewritten as fiction, all my truths revealed as figments created by my imagination. This is where all my butterflies died. I used to escape to daydreams and fantasies, but for months now, I've been trapped in my mind, with nowhere to go, and I face this alone. In a quiet, empty home, there's no one to interfere. My love used to feel warm and good and rare. Now my love is sad and aches and is full of fear. Snaps, snaps. Did I sound tortured? I felt tortured when I was writing that. I was so sad. Yeah, listening to her album was bringing me back to times where I was really sad. Um, so yeah, I guess it was relatable. Um, yeah, anyways, thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I was so confused about what I wanted to talk about because I wanted to have a little bit of fun with the tortured poets department, but also I have some really deep things that I want to tell you, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared. It's very vulnerable. And I know I don't have a lot of listeners right now, so it's not as risque, but it's still hard to share some of these things. So I am pushing that off one more week. But I will give you a sneak peek onto what the content of that episode will entail. And it is going to be Confessions of a Mean Girl. So you'll have to come back next Monday to hear those. Yes. So today we're talking about comparisontitis, where we compare ourselves to people around us, not just the Instagram people, the influencers and such that we see on our timelines every day. Because, to some extent, I think most of us understand that that's not like a 100% representative of their real lives. Although most of them are really doing those things. So I could see how people could like come up in a comparison for that. Um, However, I'm talking about when you're comparing yourself to people that you're close to and you're getting caught up in comparison. So, me personally, I thought I was kind of immune from that. Um, I don't know, for years now, I just kind of thought I don't really like I'm okay with having my own journey. In fact, most of my friends are more successful than me. And it never bothered me. It never bothers me. And as a matter of fact, it inspires me. I'm like, I like it because I think I talked about this before. Like if you're trying to become a runner and you start going out with people that are runners, you start running and you become a runner. So that's kind of how I look at my friends. Like I like my friends to be inspirational, more successful than me, and we give each other value in our relationships, right? I didn't really care about the comparison thing because I'm like, this is my journey and that's their journey and they give me something to look forward to and someone who can give me advice if I need it from someone who's been in those steps before. So I personally thought I was immune to comparisontitis. However, this past week I was reminded that I'm not immune to it. So let me paint this picture for you. Me, I am currently in a state of figuring out what I want to do, like for the foreseeable future, success wise, happiness wise, creative wise. And a big part of that is financially because just the cost of everything these days, my freaking mortgage, it just went up by $200. It's gone up every year by $200 since I bought this house. So I'm going into the fourth year of owning this house, and every year it goes up by $200. Luckily, I can still afford it and live comfortably, right? However, how many more years? And if it continues to go up by $200 a year, and if I continue to stay in the same place, obviously I may not be able to afford to live in my own home that I bought that I could comfortably afford when I bought it. Okay? So I've been working on these little side ventures. One, as my creative outlet and kind of self discovery and doing something I'm passionate about, I started this podcast, right? That's one thing. Another thing is um, me and my sexy Latino lover are exploring the concept of investing. And when I say exploring, I mean like very early stages, learning, kind of dipping our toes into it, so we can learn about it. There's a certain level of risk there that with what we're doing, that's very scary. But mostly, I'm excited because it feels very aligned. Me, like I'm feeling like I'm taking control of my life and I'm taking risks that might lead to a bigger gain in the future. So I was texting with a friend that we haven't really talked a lot this year, but she is one of my very closest friends, and we've known each other for a very long time. And we were talking about it, and I was telling her about this thing, and she was happy for me, of course. And then we were talking back and forth, and she said something like, I feel like I'm falling behind. And at that moment, to me, I was like, wow, like it kind of sucks that she feels that way because I don't feel that way about her. And I don't feel like I'm even moving very far ahead, to be honest with you. I'm trying to figure shit out. The shit could go all the way south. It could go left. The boat could hit an iceberg and it's Titanic in this bitch. Like I have no idea. I'm just trying. And so when she said that, I was like, oh, try not to be bothered by the comparison bug because we're just on different paths. Um, Actually, I look at us as like equals. So it was just weird to me that she said that, but I could see, you know, I could understand why she would say something like that just because of the things I'm doing. And when you hear about those things I'm doing, you think about people that are wealthy. I'm not rich and I don't even know what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm just dipping my toes. But when she said that, I couldn't really fully understand her feelings. So I was just kind of telling her like, just, you shouldn't compare. It's like you're not behind or whatever. But then literally, I think it was the same day or even the very next day, one of my other close friends, she posted a story on Instagram and she was talking about her job and she's in a higher position now. We work in the same field. And so she posted, and I remember like months ago, she was telling me she was like applying for that position. It's a it's a high level position, and she didn't have any experience like with that role, but she was applying anyway, which was I love about her. Like one day I hope to bring her on the podcast to talk about her journey because it is like very unexpected and inspiring. So I think she could give us some really good insight into confidence and taking risks and selling yourself and negotiation and probably a lot of things valuable things that you could get from her. So anyway, she posted on the story about her position or whatever, and then I like responded to her story, and then I was like, hold on a second, she got promoted because I didn't remember at that time that she had interviewed. So I went back and I said, wait, did you get promoted? Congratulations! I was really happy for her. And then no, she was like, yeah, I switched companies or whatever. And I was happy for her because I remember like her journey is unique. I hope that you get to hear it sometime. But yeah, like later that day, I was feeling like, damn, I'm falling behind. And it's just so weird because one, I thought I was immune to that. And two, because like I said, the majority of my friends are more successful than me already. But I think this case was a little bit different for me just because, um, we went to school together, like high school together, and we started our careers around the same time. And like recently, like I've been going through this thing with work, which I can share with you. I was trying to be promoted. I worked my ass off for like 2 straight years doing everything they told me that I should be doing to get promoted, and then they kind of like just gave a slap to my face, and I didn't get promoted. And I was really upset about it because one, I met all the criteria. Two, in year two, I was feeling like I'm doing the role that I should be promoted to for a whole year now. And you're telling me I'm not going to get promoted, even though they gave me a rating, a top performer rating, which is allegedly very rare to get. So it's just like on paper, it said promotion, but like in real life, the math wasn't mathing? So because I am currently going through that and I recently was having those feelings of wow, like you can do everything right and still lose. Um and I saw her like making these big career jumps like in the last I think maybe 5 years. I saw her go from like one role to like a position like mine to the first management role and now, this higher role. And I don't know, like before when she made the jump, her last jump, I was happy for her and I didn't get the comparison bug. But this time I did, I think because of what I went through and how hard I worked. But I'm sharing this because what I discovered about myself is that I'm not immune to it, for one. And two, I had to be um so I'm lucky because I'm kind of already out of that mood right now. But I'm kind of out of the mood right now, but I was still in it. I think maybe it's only been a week. Maybe it's not even been a week. I have no concept of time. But I just know it was like a few days of me feeling like that, like feeling really bad like that. Like, damn, like I'm falling behind. I did everything I could and I lost. And like, why do I have to go and convince my job why I'm valuable when I'm doing these high value things that they tell me are high value that seem to be high value because it's doing XYZ for the business. Like one of the projects I worked on, I had no training, no experience, 100% self taught. And I had to set some things up on my own with no guidance, and I figured it out on my own. And it saved the company like $14,000 a month. And like to me, I'm like, are things like that I do not valuable? And I know like Gen Z is all like, not just Gen Z, but mostly Gen Z, where you have to like kind of hop to get where you want. And I'm feeling like I don't want to do that because I really, really love the company I work for, but it might end up going that way. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. I really want to go more into depth on that story, but I'm not going to right now. But anyways, yeah, I was feeling like, wow, like I'm falling behind. I've been in this position and I was so comfortable for so long. And when I was finally ready to move up, I worked so hard to prove myself and then nothing. And then my friend who started like around the same time as me, I just felt like she was making leaps and bounds and I felt like I was falling behind. But I was being very intentional. I was being really intentional to tell myself the things I told to my other friend. Like, well, I just told her, like, don't let the comparison bug get you. But in my head, I said a lot more things. But I had to tell myself that I had to remind myself that one, I am genuinely happy for her, and she's a very inspiring person to me, and that's important to remember. So I can one separate myself from these feelings because you don't ever want to be jealous with your friends. That's not healthy. So I had to be intentional about telling myself like we're on different paths. And then the other thing is the whole experience I just went through with my job. I am telling myself, well, I just launched a podcast for one. Two, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do entrepreneur wise because my lover is also an entrepreneur and he like inspires me a lot because he could not do that 9 to 5 shit and then he went and started his own shit and that is so inspiring to me. And so I'm thinking maybe those things didn't fall into place with me and it's not happening like that for me because it's not supposed to, you know? I don't know if you believe in a higher purpose. I don't follow any like specific religion, but I do consider myself to be a spiritual person in that I feel like things do happen for a reason. Like I do feel like things happen for a reason or things move out the way. I do believe that every time you receive a no, that it means next opportunity. No, next opportunity. I do believe that. So I had to be really intentional over the last few days that I was feeling like that to tell myself why I don't need to compare. And then two, to allow myself to feel whatever I was feeling at that moment. Like, okay, I am feeling like this. I'm not going to deny it. I'm going to sit with it. I'm gonna let it sit with me. So I did let it sit with me for a few days. I was a being sulky for a few days. All the while I was still trying to turn my mindset around. I told you guys I'm like a 95, 99% positive person. So I don't like being in unhappy feelings. I don't neglect them and I don't ignore them. I never do that. I always embrace how I feel, but I tend to have them pass quickly because I actively and intentionally focus on turning my thoughts around for the better. So, yeah, I was telling myself, all the reasons why I shouldn't compare. So hopefully this is helpful to you. I was telling myself all the reasons why I shouldn't compare and that it's not meant for me and everyone's journey looks different. You can talk to every single person, even people who go through like a shared program and they follow the same steps and they take the same courses and they take the same tests and they apply for the same type of jobs. Everyone's journey is unique to them. So another person's success doesn't mean you don't have success or that you are not able to have success. Like you are truly in control of your life. So there is no purpose of comparing. If something that someone else has is something that you want, then you have to go get it and you have to work hard. And unfortunately, life is not fair. So you can't realistically expect for something that happened for someone to happen for you in the same way. So like some people get rich because they build businesses, and other people win the lottery. And some people win the lottery and they lose all their money and they become poor again. And some people win the lottery and they become wealthy for the rest of their life because they learn how to manage money. So everyone's path is different, and what's meant for you is going to be for you. And you have to reframe the things that come to you into a perspective of your life, you know? So I guess that's all I wanted to share. I just wanted to talk about a little bit about comparison and how I was dealing with it and how well I quickly got over it. I know some people because I told you personal development, self-awareness and like confidence and positivity, it's a skill. It's a skill you have to build and I've been building it for years. So it did take me only a few days to get over those feelings, but I'm telling you it is a intentional, hard, like consistent effort that you need to make if you find yourself comparing. Just try to bring yourself back to you and say, why do I feel this way? Is it because of something I went through recently? Is it because I specifically tried to do that and I failed? Like, what is it? Like, what is it? Because honestly, most of the time when we're comparing, it's not truly like jealousy of the other person, in my opinion. It's kind of disappointment in ourselves of the things that we tried and failed at, which is something that is not in our control. When you try something and you fail, um, you tried everything you could to get the outcome that you wanted. So the outcome based on your effort was out of your control. The other thing is that there were things in your control that you just did not do. So if you wanted to get to a certain point and you did not do the work, that's another reason you're thinking that you're like, ugh, you're having those feelings of comparisons, but you actually have not been doing the work. And that's something that you need to sit with yourself and reflect and really like be real with yourself and say, well, well, the truth is, I haven't been doing what I've supposed to been doing. I have not been doing what I have supposed to have been doing in order to get that outcome that I'm wanting. And really, those are the only reasons why you feel those way when you compare. You either have done what you think you should do to get that and you failed, or you didn't do the work. And so, therefore, you did not get the outcome. And then the third thing is just like luck, bad luck or good luck, which is another thing that's out of your control. So try to remember those things the next time you're feeling like you're failing at something, or why does this person have this and I don't have that, or, things like that. Because the other thing is when you compare and you start obsessing over that, you get stuck. You can't go back to focusing on yourself if you're worried about those things that other people have. And you have to also remember, like, behind the scenes, you don't know what's going on with that person. You don't know what it took for them to get to that point or to get that thing. Or, sometimes they don't work to get those things and they get lucky. But all of that has nothing to do with you. So, really, the foundation of trying to stop yourself from comparing to others is to just bring yourself back to you, because nothing is more important than you. Nothing is more important than you. We are in this world with just one point of view, and that's what we see and how we feel and what we say inside of our head and the things we think and do. That's the only thing we can really control in this world. So you have to take care of yourself. So stop comparing. Start looking at yourself in the mirror, saying, what do I have to do? And I know it's hard. Like, I have had moments where I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, you're not doing it. You're doing the opposite of everything that you said that you want to do. And that's why you're not hitting your goals. And that's why this intention that you have you're not being intentional. You have this intention, but you're not being intentional. So your intention is not going to come true. Because no matter what, an outcome is guaranteed. If you do the work, you're guaranteed to get closer to where you need to be, where you're supposed to be. If you don't do the work, you're guaranteed to get nowhere further than where you currently are. So when you are comparing, take a look back at yourself and see, like, what does this really mean? And be kind to yourself when you do this. If there are hard truths you have to tell yourself, do it with kindness. And, don't beat yourself up. Don't be a tortured poet, okay? Don't be a tortured poet. Be a cheerleader. Be your own cheerleader. And I really enjoyed our conversation. I hope you enjoyed the tortured poetry at the beginning of this episode. If you have listened to the Taylor Swift album, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, I would love to know what your favorite song on the album is so I can go and digest it. Let me try to get in your brain and say, oh, what did they say they loved about this song? Let's see if I can hear it. Because, poetry is interpreted in different ways by different people. And honestly, I just love talking about Taylor Swift. So if you want to send me a DM or leave me a comment and let me know, what's your favorite song on the album, or if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, you're still welcomed here. You're still welcomed here. I still welcome you. You do not have to be a Taylor Swift fan, but she may come up a time or two, or three, or 100, or I don't know, 2,190 times. If you know, you know. But anyway, yeah, I will. Damn, you know what I just realized? This episode so far is 28 minutes long. Taylor Swift just released an album, okay? So that means I should have made this episode 13 minutes long. Shame, shame, shame. Well, it's too late now. Anyway, remember next week I'm going to be talking to you about Confessions of a Mean Girl. And it's a juicy one. I'm going to be so vulnerable. I'm going to be so vulnerable with you. You're going to hear something so crazy. I'm actually going to tell you about the biggest regret of my life, and it's very scary. But I am happy to share it because it doesn't feel right if I like want to do this women empowerment thing without telling you my journey, my transformation journey. So I'll see you next week. I hope to see you next week. And that's all for now, you lovely glow getters. Stop comparing. See you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Glow Getter Guru today and for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Do me a favor. If there was something that you loved about this episode or that you connected with, please let me know. Connect with me on Instagram. I can't wait to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Bye.